In this video, I'm going to show you what happens to your Social Security payment if you retire early. Coming up next on Holy Schmidt.
Holy Schmidt!
If you've been fortunate enough to arrange your life so that you're getting out of the race early, first of all, let me say congratulations. A lot of people who watch this channel will be envious of you, but in a good way. But a common question that comes up is if I retire 5, 10, or even 15 years before I'm eligible to collect Social Security, what happens to my payment? That's a good question, and frankly, it's one that a lot of people wish they had asked before they left the workforce. Before we begin, please make sure you click the like button. YouTube uses the number of likes for its algorithm to push a video up in the search results, and I want to help as many people as possible. Now back to the video. The SSA determines the size of your payment by how long you worked and how much you earned. The third element is how long you wait past age 61. For the purpose of this video, let's assume that you waited until full retirement age. When you look at your paycheck, there's a line item called FICA that stands for Federal Insurance Contributions Act. It's your Social Security tax. FICA works a little bit like a savings account. If you work for only a few years, then you've only contributed to Social Security for a few years, and therefore the amount available to you is a lot less than if you'd worked your entire adult life. This point is really important because for those of you watching this, you more than likely will be working less than, maybe even a lot less than someone who worked right up to age 62 or later to collect Social Security. FICA looks like a savings account in another way. Because it is based on how much you earn, the more you earn, the more Social Security tax is taken out, and the more you receive on the other end when you draw on your Social Security payment. That's why someone who earned $60,000 a year on average gets more than someone who earned $30,000 a year on average, assuming that they worked the same number of years. On the flip side, for those of you who aren't interested in maximizing your payment, and let's be honest, who is not interested in that, you at least need to understand the ticket to the game, and that is Social Security credits. One Social Security credit represents 3 months of work where you earn $1,470 or more, and you need 40 Social Security credits to even qualify for a Social Security payment. By the way, $1,470 in a quarter is $5,880 in a year. That's a pretty easy target to hit. And that number would have even been lower in the past, making it easier still. So step number one is to make sure that you have 40 credits of earnings before you make any decisions. So check with the SSA on this point. Now the reason that you came here, over your lifetime, you will have earned varying degrees of income. The SSA needs to know one thing about each of those income streams, and that is, what is the value of that income stream in today's dollars? For example, in 1986, if you earned about $10,000, to bring that to today's dollars, you'd multiply it by about 2.3. So $23,000 is the equivalent in today's dollars. If it was 2006, the multiplier would be about 1.6 times. You get the point. They do that for every year of earnings that you have. Once you've done that, there's one final step. The SSA takes your best 35 years and discards the rest. And then they add that all together and they divide that number by 35. And then they divide that number by 12, and that's what's called your average monthly earnings. It's this last point that becomes particularly problematic for someone who doesn't work 35 years. Because if you don't have 35 years of earnings, they add zeros to get you to 35 years. But the good news is that there's a mitigant to help you called bend points, which makes the impact of zero earnings years less of an impact. For example, in 2021, the SSA will pay you 90% of the first $996 of your average monthly earnings. That's $896 on your Social Security payment. For the next $5,006 of your average monthly earnings, they pay you 32%, and anything beyond that, they pay you 15%. Bend points can close the gap for someone who's worked all of their adult life compared to someone who's only worked part of their adult life. Let me explain what I'm talking about here. You can see the math on my website by going to holyschmidt.com/early. Let's assume that instead of working for 35 years, you decided you only need to work for 30 years. Let's also assume that your last year of work, you had been making $50,000 and your compensation had been growing at 2.5% per year, every year up until that point. That 2.5%, by the way, is in today's dollars, so no need to think about inflation, for the purposes of this video anyway. Given the math I just described, and if you left the workforce after 30 years, your average monthly earnings would be $2,534. But if you had continued to work and earned another 2.5% per year beyond the 30-year mark, up to 35 years, your average monthly earnings would be $3,175. So your average monthly earnings at 30 years is 80% of what they would have been at 35 years. If you run 30 years, i.e. $2,534 through the bend points, you get $996 times 0.9, that's $896, plus $1,538 times 0.32, that's $492, for a total of $1,388. If you run 35 years, $3,175 through the bend points, you get 0.9 times $996, that's $896, plus 32% of $2,179, that's $697, for a total of $1,593. So if you work 30 years, you receive 87% of the full retirement age payment that you would receive if you work 35 years. This is because the average monthly earnings has less value as it goes through bend point number 2, and less value still if it goes through bend point number 3. Now, what if you did really well and after 30 years you were earning $140,000 a year? Your average monthly earnings, assuming the same 2.5% per year increase, would be $7,095. If you waited the full 35 years, your average monthly earnings would be $8,891. So just like before, the average monthly earnings would be 80% after 30 years of what the average monthly earnings would be if you had worked the full 35 years. So if you run 30 years, $7,095 through the bend points, you get 90% of $996, that's $896. 32% of $5,006, that's $1,602. And 15% of the balance. That's $1,093 times 15%, or $164. That gives you a total Social Security payment of $2,662 at full retirement age. If you run 35 years through the bend points, remember that's an average monthly earnings of $8,891. You have $896 for bend point number 1, $1,602 for bend point number 2. Those don't change from before. And bend point number 3, $2,889 times 15% is $433, giving you a total of $2,931. Your actual Social Security payment after 30 years is 91% of what it would have been had you worked for 35 years, even though your average monthly earnings was 80%. If you like this video and you want to see more of me, please make sure you click subscribe and notifications so that you get alerted the next time I post a video. I post a few times a week. Also, check out this video right here on how to calculate your own Social Security payment in 3 easy steps. This is Jeff Schmidt. Thanks for watching.